Students, now very good afternoon to all of you. Hello, students. Hello, students.
Good afternoon,
Hello.
sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you listening to me? No. Okay. So now, okay. You see, that day we have done the blood grouping, right? So today, no, that day we have done the different types of blood cell we have done. So today, I just want to go to blood grouping because these small thing let us complete first. Then we will go to circulation and then the cardiac cycle and then few instruments in the circulatory system like the ECG. Okay, we will go. Then few diseases are there in the course. Then after that we will give the questions. Okay, so now okay, we go to the blood groups. Okay, we'll go to the blood grouping. Okay, now blood grouping. Uh, mm, so in the human being, we have two types of blood grouping are there: ABO and RS group. One is called as ABO group and RS group. These two types of the blood grouping are there in human beings. Now, so ABO, first of all, we'll go to ABO grouping. Mm, ABO grouping is based on the presence or absence of two types of surface antigens. Okay, they are two types of the surface antigens. You see that, suppose we take a blood cell. Suppose we take a RBC, red blood cell we take here. So inside the red blood cell, we have the antibody. We have the we have the antibody found inside the red blood cell, and antigen are found at this surface. At the surface, we find the antigen. Okay. So now the ABO blood grouping. This is based on the presence or absence of the surface antigens on the RBC, namely A and B antigens. Okay, presence antigen A is present or absent, then antigen B is present or absent. Based on the presence of antigen, two types of antigen A and B on the surface of the RBC, we can classify the blood into three groups, into four groups there actually. A, then B, AB, and O groups are there. Okay. Then now during the transfusion of the blood, we have to see that the blood of the donor and blood of the receiver should match. If the two blood group does not match, then there will be the coagulation or clotting of blood starts. So to prevent clotting and coagulation, we have to see the blood grouping is very essential in that respect. Okay, now here we go to, okay, now this, okay, very simple thing we will apply here. Okay, now the ABO grouping. First of all, we'll go to the ABO grouping here. Okay, in the ABO grouping, what we see that, suppose we will write that blood group here. All of you requested to write also in the copy, please. So, see blood group. Okay, the blood groups are here. And we go to the, we write genotype also today. Because the genotype is also required in some of the exams. So, genotype, then we write their antigen, what kind of antigen are found and what kind of antibodies. Okay, antibody are found. Okay, antibody. Blood groups we write like this: genotype, antigen, and antibody. Now here. So, first of all, if we go to the blood group A, blood group A. So here we write blood group A. We write here. Then its genotype is IAIA. IAIA. Okay. Yes, gene will be IAIA, and also IA, then small I. Okay, IA and small I sometimes, right? An antigen found is here. Antigen, suppose we find here. Okay. Antigen we find here A. Then antibody we find here B. Or we can write a small b as the antibody. Okay. Then just it will be opposite always, antigen and antibody. Okay, blood group B we write here. Genotype will be IB, IB, or we can write IBI. Okay, IBI, and here our okay, antigen will be B, and antibody will be small a. Okay, then we go to blood group AB. So here genotype will be IA and IB. Okay, genotype will be IA and IB. Genotype will be IA, IB. And our antigen will be here. Antigen we take here. Okay. Blood group AB. Antigen. Okay, antigen we take here A and B. Antigen will be A, B. Okay, antigen will be A and B. And this antibody will be will be 0. Okay, no antibody is there. Okay, then that's why AB, this called universal recipient. Universal, it is called as universal recipient. Okay, recipient because it can take the blood from all the group because it does not have the antibody. Okay, no antibody is there. Okay, then we go to blood group O now. So here our genotype will be II, and there will be no antigen. Antigen is absent, and antibody will be small a, small b right here. Okay. So here we write here. Okay. So here in this case, phenotype, we go to the, in 1 minute, just 1 minute, please. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute, just 1 minute, please. 1 minute, please. Just 1 minute. Okay. Just 1 minute, please. किसका फोन आया था पता नहीं क्यों आ गया फोन okay, now I think it's clear to you. So okay, so now here we go to phenotype is 4. Phenotype we can get here 4 phenotype A, B, and O, and genotype will be 6. Okay, genotype will be here 6. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 genotypes are there. Okay, so after that we go to, these are the blood groupings here. So okay, so here there is a law that's called as our Wiener's law. Okay, there is a law called as the Wiener's law. What is Wiener's law? Wiener's law, discovered by Wiener. That's why it's called the Wiener's law. Wiener's law states that okay, antigen of donor reacts with the antibody of recipient. Wiener's law states that antigen of donor reacts with antibody of recipient. Okay, antibody of recipient. And here blood group O is called a universal donor. It is a universal donor because of absence of the antigen. And blood group AB can take the blood from AB and O. That's why it's called a universal recipient because of absence. Because of the absence of antibody. Okay, then we go to RS grouping. After that, we go to RS grouping. Okay, so now this over now, students. So we go to the RS grouping now. Okay. Okay, now we go to RS grouping. RS grouping here, we see that RH antigen, there is a antigen known as RH antigen is found on the surface of the RBC of RH antigen is found on the surface of RBC in humans. Okay, in humans. This is found on the surface of RBC in humans. And here, this was similar to one present on the rhesus monkey. Okay, this was also found on the rhesus monkey. Rhesus monkey, that's why the name RH. Okay. But it is found, also found, this antigen is also found on the surface of the RBC of humans also. And majority of 80% of the human, it is found on the surface. And if it is found on the surface of the RBC of human being, then this kind of the human beings are called as, this kind of individual are called as RS positive. This is found on the surface of the human being, then surface of the RBC of human being, then this kind of individual are called as RS positive. And if RS antigen is not found on the surface of the RBC of human, then they are called as RS negative. Okay, if they are absent on the surface of the RBC, if RS will be absent, then they are called as RH negative. They are called as RS negative. Okay, so RS positive and RS negative, right? RS positive and RS negative. So this is the condition. Okay, now after that, okay, we go to okay. If exposed to RS blood, RS positive blood will form a specific antibody against RS antigen. Therefore, RS group should be matched before transfusion, because RS positive and RS negative, RS positive blood will react with the RH antigen. The RH positive reacts with the RH negative. Then there will be formation of the specific antibody. Specific antibody will be formed against RH positive. Against RH positive. Therefore, RS group should be antibodies against the RH. Okay, so there will be a specific antibody against RH antigen. Therefore, the RS group should be matched before the transfusion. Okay, now here there is a disease will be formed here if the two blood group RS positive and RS negative does not match. Okay, this is called the RS incompatibility or mismatching. Mismatching has been observed here. So here one very important question, and they ask in the NEET exam. This is called RH incompatibility. Incompatibility. RH incompatibility. Now suppose here I say that RH incompatibility or mismatching, or this will be mismatching. Okay, mismatching of RH. So here now, if the mother have the RH negative, the mother has RH negative blood, okay, and the fetus or the embryo, fetus or embryo inside the mother have RH negative, sorry, have RH, okay, RH positive. So what happened? In the first pregnancy, the two bloods are well separated by the placenta. This is very important. Just you mark this one. So here in the first pregnancy, please write down this one. In the first pregnancy, what we find that the fetus blood and mother's blood, and you see mother's blood, it can be well separated. Can be well separated. Okay. In the first pregnancy, the fetus blood and the mother's blood will be well separated by the placenta. Okay, well separated by the placenta. Okay, placenta will separate them. Okay, well separated by the placenta. Okay, then here will be the fetus blood and outside will be mother's blood. This will be separated by placenta. But okay, so okay. However, during the delivery of the first child, there is a possibility of exposure of the maternal blood to a small amount of RS positive blood from the fetus. In such cases, mother starts preparing antibody against RS antigen in her blood. Okay, so here, okay, there is an exceptions. Okay, so here, this is also very important here. There is a exception. Where is the exception? What is the exception here? This is also important in the exam. Okay. Okay, so here what is exception here? Okay. Number one, you see possibility. There is a possibility. Very important this one. Possibility of exposure of maternal blood. Possibility of exposure of maternal blood. Okay, exposure of the maternal blood to small amount of the RS positive blood, to small amount of RH positive blood of child, RH positive blood of the child. Okay, now RH positive blood or of the child, or we can write there of the fetus, Okay. Then what happened here? If there is a possibility of exposure of the maternal blood to small amount of the RS positive blood of the fetus, then here mother starts preparing antibody against RH antigen in her blood. Fetus, then you see that mother starts preparing antibody. Preparing antibody. Mother's blood starts preparing antibody against the RS antigen in her blood. against, we can say that, against Rh antigen. Antigen, okay, in her blood. In her blood. This is very important point. Against Rh antigen in her blood. Okay. So this is an exception. Very, very important. Exception is there. You have to mark it there. There is a possibility of exposure of the maternal blood or mother's blood to the small amount of Rh positive blood of the fetus. Now, if this happens, then mother starts preparing antibody against Rh antigen in her blood. Okay, starts preparing antibody against Rh antigen in her blood, but this is not so severe, and the child will be saved, because if there will be large amount of antibody, then there will be defect in the child. But small amount antibody is there, so there will be no defect in the child. So now in the subsequent pregnancy, now if you go to the next pregnancy, okay, or if you go to the subsequent pregnancy, what happened in the subsequent pregnancy? So here in the subsequent pregnancy, what we find here, that Rh antibody from the mother, Rh negative, can leak into the blood of the fetus. Mother, we can say that they have Rh negative, okay, antibody. Rh negative antibodies, okay. Rh negative antibodies, okay. It can go to the fetus. Okay, fetus RBC. Okay, fetus, and fetus has got, okay, blood of fetus. No, blood of mother has Rh negative antibody, then it can enter into the blood of the fetus which have Rh positive antibody. Okay, now, and they will destroy the fetal RBC. Okay, fetal RBC will be destroyed. Fetal RBC will be destroyed. Okay, and this could cause the severe anemia and jaundice. Okay, so it will cause severe anemia and jaundice. Okay, jaundice in the baby. Okay, and this condition is called as erythroblastosis foetalis. So this condition is called as, very, very important in the exam, erythroblastosis foetalis. Okay, this disease has been asked in AIMS exam also before. In the NEET exam also, this has been asked, what is erythroblastosis foetalis? So here, if the mother Rh negative antibody from the mother will enter into the blood of the fetus which have Rh positive antibody, then fetal RBC will be destroyed. And if the fetal RBC will be destroyed, then it will cause the severe anemia and the jaundice in the baby. And this disease is called as the erythroblastosis foetalis. Okay. And this can be avoided by administering anti-Rh antibody to mother immediately after the delivery of the first child. After delivery of the first child, if this condition exists, then it can be prevented by administering anti-Rh antibody. Anti-Rh, this can be anti-Rh antibody. Okay, anti-Rh antibody will be administered in the mother. Okay, anti-Rh antibody will be administered in the mother. okay, to the mother immediately after the delivery of the first child. This is the cure. Okay, the mother after delivery of first child. So this is the one of the condition of the RH mismatching situation you have seen here, and the disease is called as erythroblastosis fetalis, right? So this one you have to understand very much. Okay, then after RH, after RH we go to the coagulation of blood. Coagulation means if you get some injury somewhere, then we find after some time blood stop oozing from the site of injury, and there's a formation of clot or a plug-like structure or a mesh-like structure which does not allow blood to flow. We stop the flowing of blood. So here the coagulation of blood. So, okay, coagulation of blood is a mechanism to prevent excessive loss of blood from the body. Okay. Now here, if a clot or a coagulum form mainly, this is a network of the threads called as the fibrins, in which dead and damaged form elements. Okay, now let's go to the blood coagulation here. Okay. Now we go to the blood coagulation, or the blood clotting. Okay, so here a mesh-like structure is formed at the site of injury. This is called as the fibrin, and fibrin stop the blood cells and material to go out. This is simple thing I told you. Okay, fibrinogen is converted into fibrin by the enzyme thrombin. You see, fibrinogen is converted into fibrin by the help of the enzyme thrombin. Fibrinogen is converted into fibrin by the help of enzyme thrombin, and thrombin will form prothrombin. And okay, so here we will go to the calcium ions are also required. So here I want to go to in detail now, blood coagulation in detail. So here, what I tell you that blood coagulation. Okay, now before going to blood coagulation, I just want to know that the factors required. Okay, blood coagulation. Okay. Now here, what happened there? There are certain factors, and certain ions, metal ions, are required for the blood clotting, and this has been widely asked in the exams. So we will go to that. Okay. Now see that. See the process of of conversion. Process of conversion of fluid like blood. Okay, fluid like blood into jelly like blood into jelly like. Okay, jelly like clot is called coagulation. It's called coagulation. Okay, it's called coagulation. Jelly like clot is called coagulation, and this jelly like clot is a network of threads. Jelly like clot, is a network of thread made of fibrin. Okay, network of the thread made of fibrin. So here the jelly-like clot is what? Is network of thread. This thread is called as our fibrin. So now we go to the factors. Okay, factors involved in the clotting. So, okay. Uh, so here vitamin K and the calcium ion are also required for the blood clotting. So now here, the if the blood does not clot, then this condition is called as hemophilia. Okay, so now we will write here. Okay, factors. Okay, factors for blood clotting. For blood clotting, there are so many factors are there. So we just write down there. Okay, factor one is called as the fibrinogen. Factor 2 is called as our prothrombin. It's called as thrombin. Factor 3 is called as our thromboplastin. This is called as the thromboplastin. Okay, factor 4 is called as calcium ion. Factor 4 is our calcium ions. Okay. Factor 5 is called as Levile factor, or factor 5 is Levile, L-A-B-I-L-E, Levile factor. L-A-B-I-L-E, Levile factor. It's called as Levile factor. Factor 6. Okay, it's called as our stable factor. It is called as stable factor. Factor 7. Factor 7 is called as factor 6. Factor 5, factor 6 is called as, okay, factor 6, factor 4. Okay, now factor 7 is also called as stable factor. It's called as stable factor. Stable factor, and factor 8 is called as anti-hemophilic globulin. Is called as anti-hemophilic globulin. Okay, anti-hemophilic, this is called as anti-hemophilic globulin. And factor 9 is called as thromboplastin factor.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, yes.
What's
Hello?
number 7? What's number 7?
7 is here, stable factor. This is also called as stable factor. And 6 is also called as stable factor. That's why in some of the book, they don't give the factor 6. They don't give factor 6. Factor 6, they don't give directly, they go to the factor 7. Okay. So factor 6 and 7, they are called as stable factor. Most of the book, they don't give factor 6, right? Okay. Then,
but what's the difference?
Yes.
But what's the difference between the number 6 and number 7?
Yes, 6 and 7. Actually, they don't get up till now. They don't have discovered factor 6, right? They don't discover factor 6. So that's why in some book they give factor 6 and 7 stable, and some of the book they don't give factor 6. They directly they give the factor 7. And factor 7 is also called as the pro-converting factor. This is also called as pro-converting. Okay, pro-converting factor. If you like, you can remove the factor number 6. Please remove the factor number 6, okay? Because it is not required at your stage. Because up till now not discovered, but some of the higher in BSc books and MSc books, they take combined factor 6 and 7, and they say that they are same. Okay. Anyway, so now this factor 9 is called as thromboplastin factor. This is called as thromboplastin. Thromboplastin factor. Okay. Or sometimes it is also called as, okay, Christmas factor also. Okay. This is also called as Christmas factor. Christmas factor is just the name they have given. Nothing, no relation with the Christmas. This one, just a name they have given. Christmas factor. And factor 11 is called as plasma thromboplastin antecedent. Factor 11 now we'll go to. There are, you see, 13 factors are there. Okay, factor 11. Okay, factor 11 is called as
Excuse me,
plasma
sir.
thromboplastin. Yes. Yes.
What about number 10? What about number 10?
7 is stable factor, or the pro is called as the pro-converting factor. Okay. Factor 7.
Also, we
6.
have done till 9. We have done till factor 9. Then what's factor 10?
Oh, factor 10. Others, factor 10. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, factor 9. Oh, factor 10 we have not. Okay, factor 10. Right. Factor 10 is called as our, okay, Stewart factor. Stewart factor is called as the Stewart factor. Factor 10. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Skipping that. Okay. Factor 11 is called as plasma thromboplastin. It's called as the plasma thromboplastin. Plasma thromboplastin. Okay. Antecedent. Antecedent. Okay. Plasma thromboplastin antecedent. Right. And factor 12 is called as Hagman factor. This is very important. They ask in the exam name of the factor 12. Factor 12, many times they have asked in the NEET exam, name of the factor 12 is called as the Hagman factor. Okay. Hagman factor. Hagman factor. Or this is also called as a contact factor. Hagman factor or contact factor. Actually, these factors are not given in the NCERT book. Okay, but in the syllabus it is there. So we have to do that. Okay. So now, okay, then one more factor is the last one, factor 13 is called as fibrin stabilizing factor. It's called as fibrin stabilizing factor. Okay, fibrin stabilizing factor. This is called as fibrin stabilizing factor. So now what happened here, that then other thing required is vitamin K is also required. Vitamin K is also required. These are the factors required, and vitamin K is also required. Okay. So according to Bix, according to the scientist Bix, B-I-G-G-S Bix, according to scientist Bix, B-I-G-G, Bix in the year 1972. Okay, he told that, okay, he told that the 12 factors, 12 plasma factors are involved in the process of the formation of blood clot. So now here, the main thing is that, okay, prothrombin. Inactive prothrombin is converted into active thrombin by calcium ion. Okay. Prothrombin is converted into thrombin by calcium ion, and the thromboplastin are supposed to be essential. Okay. And out of these, the calcium ion already present in the blood plasma. And for the thromboplastin, two sources are held responsible: extrinsic source of the tissue and extrinsic source of the plasma. However, the extrinsic source and intrinsic source of the thromboplastin and the calcium ion convert the prothrombin into thrombin. So we will see this mechanism of the blood clotting now. Okay. So here we write here that the plasma, and other side we write the damaged tissues. damaged tissue is there. Okay, damaged. So there here factor 12. Okay, factor 12, factor 11, factor 9, factor 8. Okay, platelet factor. Okay, platelet factor is found in the plasma. Okay, factor 4 now. Factor 4, factor 10, factor 5. These are found in the plasma. And in the damaged tissue, we have factor 4. Factor 4 and factor 7, factor 10, and factor 5. These are found in the damaged tissue. So, this will act as an intrinsic source. Okay, this will act as an intrinsic source of thromboplastin thromboplastin, and here this is the extrinsic source of extrinsic source of thromboplastin. Okay, so our plasma form the extrinsic source of the thromboplastin, and our damaged tissue is form extrinsic source of thromboplastin. The thromboplastin will be produced here, and the prothrombin. Now, so here the prothrombin is converted into thromboplastin is converted into prothrombin, and the prothrombin is converted into thrombin. Okay. So here we write now next point here. Okay, right here next point. So here, let's write the next point now. Okay, after the this one you make an arrow here. Okay, and here also we make an arrow. Okay, so right there, intrinsic thromboplastin. Okay, and extrinsic thromboplastin. Extrinsic thromboplastin. Thromboplastin is converted into prothrombin. And prothrombin of the plasma is converted into thrombin. This is converted into thrombin. Okay, thrombin, and thrombin will change into this will convert fibrinogen of the plasma. Fibrinogen of the plasma into fibrin. Okay, fibrinogen of the plasma is converted into fibrin by the help of the thrombin. So, and also here we require vitamin K. Okay, vitamin K, and okay, vitamin K, and our this factor 4, calcium ion we have already written, factor 4. Okay, and fibrin will entangle blood cells, and it form the clot. Okay, it form the clot. So this is the story of the blood clotting mechanism. Okay, blood clotting mechanism. Okay, okay. In human being, you see, blood will clot usually in 3 minutes. But in some of the cases, even in the minor injury, excessive loss of blood resulting into the death of an individual sometime, this condition of the failure of blood clot is called as hemophilia. And hemophilia, they say that this is probably due to the deficiency of factor 8 and 9. Hemophilia is due to deficiency of factor 8 and 9. And hemophilia is a sex-linked genetic disorder and is found in the male. Okay, hemophilia. Just to be write down here, hemophilia. Hemophilia is hemophilia. Hemo. In this condition, blood does not clot. Okay, and the causes are absence of factor number 8 and 9. Absence of factor 8 and 9. 8 and 9. And this is this is found in male only, found in male humans, and this is a sex-linked genetic disorder. This is a sex-linked genetic disorder. Disorder. Sex-linked genetic disorder. Okay. So here we can about the blood clotting, and then little bit we have to know that okay, there is what are the anticoagulant we use artificially in the hospital, which will not allow the blood to clot. We have to write few points because it came also in the exam. So we just write on there anticoagulant. Write down anticoagulant. Anticoagulants are, they does not allow, or they prevent, we can say prevent the blood clotting artificially. These are, okay, these are, we can say that number one will be CPD. CPD is our citrate phosphate. Okay, dextrose. Okay, dextrose, citrate phosphate dextrose, and also ACD. ACD is acid. Okay, acid citrate dextrose. Acid citrate. Okay, dextrose. Then we have number 3 now. Okay, number 3 is our EDTA. EDTA is our ethylene diamino tetraacetic acid. EDTA you do titration in chemistry, I think. So it is ethylene diamino. Okay, tetraacetic acid. And they are used by the blood banks, and we, and also oxalate is there, oxalate, and the citrate. Okay, citrate. These are also the anticoagulant. Okay, these are important. Sometimes they ask in the NEET exam and other entrance exam. I'm here also, so you have to remember these also. Okay, so now after that, after the blood grouping we have done the coagulation we have done. So now we will go to the human heart. Okay, human heart. Now the time, let's see the time now, human heart, because we can go. Today, I will just give you a briefing of the human heart, and then next day we will explain both that external structure and internal structure. Both are important. Okay, external is also important and internal structure is also important. So here,
Excuse me, sir.
okay. So now here we go to the human heart.
Excuse me, sir.
Human heart. Okay. Just a rough diagram, suppose if I draw human heart. Okay, this is a rough diagram. Okay. The rough sketch I give you about human heart now. Okay. Faster. Human heart has got the fourth chamber. Two auricles are there and the two ventricles are there. Two auricles is a right auricle, okay, right and left auricle. Okay, right auricle, okay, left auricle, then right ventricle, left ventricle. There are these are the vena cava, the superior vena cava, inferior vena cava is there, and this is called as the pulmonary artery, and this another one is called as the pulmonary vein, and this is the systemic aorta. So human heart is divided into four chambers. There are two auricle and the two ventricles, and the superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, it brings the deoxygenated blood into right auricle. From right auricle, it goes into the right ventricle. From right ventricle, the impure blood will be taken by the pulmonary artery into the lungs for purification, and the purified blood or oxygenated blood will be taken by the pulmonary vein into the left auricle. From there, it goes into left ventricle. From left ventricle, the oxygenated blood will be taken by the systemic aorta into different part of the tissues of the body. So this is the scheme of the circulation. In NCERT book, they are given circulatory pathway. So this is the circulatory pathway. Okay, then after that, there is a human circulatory system is given there. And human circulatory system, this is the internal structure we have given. And a little bit of external structure will give also. And the cardiac cycle, maybe next class, and ECG. ECG is important, and double circulation. Okay, and little bit disorders. So we try to complete the, okay, within one more class we take, or yeah, or we can take maximum 2 class to complete this. Okay, and then 1 class we take the question answers. Okay, right. So today we conclude our class here. Okay, any question you can ask regarding the coagulation of blood or regarding the blood grouping? Anybody have any question? You can ask me. The factor number 6 is actually not yet now discovered. That's why they take 6 and 7 together. Okay, for your information, I'm saying any book, no book has given factor 6 name. Okay. So if no question, we'll conclude today's class. Thank you very much, students, for hearing and attending the class. Thank you very much. Hello, students.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Tissue fluid, actually, that is the lymphatic system we want to ask, no?
Yes, sir.
Lymphatic system and hepatic is the portal system we will do later on after completing this. Okay. Tissue fluid, actually lymphatic system, lymph and the associated glands. Okay, that we will do, but that is a little bit, maybe 2-3 minutes we can do that. Okay, no problem. That is very simple. Okay. So today class we conclude here, and then maybe next day whenever they will give class, we will start.